Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shampoo and Booze. This is episode number 12 at shampooandbooze.com.
So, first of all, welcome everybody. We are, some people hearing this know us because we have another podcast, but this, for those of you who don't know us, we're basically artists who are learning to run businesses.
Yes.
Two people that realize we just could not work for other people, but are trying to break the mold of how a lot of artists are bad at business. So we're trying to be good at business. So podcasting every week is good for us because it kind of keeps us honest about what we're doing. And
it helps us document what we're doing as well.
Yeah, and we just want to share with other people out there who might be doing the same thing, who running businesses might be new to them. I mean, What we find is that running a business really isn't that complicated.
It just takes a lot of work and patience, I think.
I mean, it's all about you make more than you spend, like those very simple concepts.
Right.
But so it doesn't have to be complicated. But the good thing is, I think if you're like us, kind of arty, you like to be creative and solve problems, and that's kind of what we do.
Right.
And so in this business, we started a rental business last year, was our first year.
Yeah.
We bought a house.
Now, we bought a house 3 years ago, and it took us 3 years to fix it up, every little detail that we wanted to be perfect.
And last year was our first year of having it rent, and it did much better than we thought.
Yeah.
And it's exclusively rented for short term.
Yes.
So, we don't live in it. Other people don't live in it. It's just a short-term rental.
Yes.
And the way that works is because we live in kind of a vacation area.
Right.
So, people are coming out here. And so we knew...
It's already an established vacation area that people are looking to come to.
And the other thing is, I feel like I just want to kind of update people so people are very clear. So we use Airbnb.
Yeah.
And VRBO.
or vacation rental by owner, or it's also called HomeAway.
/HomeAway.
Yeah.
We've tried other sites like TripAdvisor and FlipKey and some of these other...
There's a few other like European ones that we tried, and we got nothing from those.
So we found that in the year that we've rented, we were getting the bulk of our bookings from those two sites.
Right.
Airbnb and VRBO.
All of our bookings from
/HomeAway.
Yes.
And those sites are good for the most part. I mean, Airbnb is just basically, they only make money if we make money. I feel like they're going to up their percentage at some point because it really isn't very much. They take I forgot how much.
3% or something?
Yeah, it's really small. And then HomeAway or a VRBO, they have a subscription model.
Right.
Or they do actually do the whole...
percentage.
But they take 10% if you do it that way. We found it's better. We pay the $400 up front.
Yeah, it's a $400 subscription fee. It's like flat, right?
Yeah, it's flat. And then we keep all the money.
There are different subscriptions. Like you could, Anna actually mentioned it. She has like one of the highest subscriptions on VRBO because your placement gets higher in search rankings, stuff like that.
I kind of like Airbnb. How it works is, it's more of a newer, more modern way to do it where you can't buy placement.
Right. It's like organic placement.
Yeah, it's your place based on your reviews and your price and stuff like that. With a VRBO or HomeAway, it's definitely like you can pay to be the top, and that's kind of like the old way.
Yeah.
But, anyway, and, most of our customers are people so we live 2 hours outside of D.C. in the Shenandoah Valley.
Yes.
You can
beautiful Shenandoah Valley.
You can go to shampooandbooze.com and you can click and see our
we do link to our
rental. So it's all there.
Yeah.
And, we get a lot of people from the D.C. area, but we also get people who rent from all over the country and the world.
Yeah.
Because we also live in like a wedding area. So people are coming for weddings. We just booked, before we start this podcast, a weekend in July.
Yes.
People who are coming for a wedding, and they booked a weekend. It was great.
See, so that's a great example of how one sort of industry in our area, like the wedding venue industry, is really helping our business, directly helping our business. So we love that.
So we think our story is interesting because someone has to think it's interesting. So we have to think it's interesting for ourselves because we fund this rental business from selling things on eBay.
Right.
Or selling things online. So we find, since 2008, we've been finding junk that people are giving away or donating or throwing away. And then we do the work to resell these items for its profits. And now we're investing this money in real assets.
Yeah.
In real estate.
Real estate.
That will hopefully maintain us as we get older.
Right.
So it really is like trash to treasure pipeline.
Exactly. And the thing that we like about it is it's not like we just bought ourselves a second home because it's fun or a nice car. We bought another business, essentially.
Right. So I think that's kind of the artists in us of like taking something that no one thinks is valuable.
Right.
Figuring out why it is valuable, selling it online to someone that wants it. And now we're taking that money and investing it in real estate.
Right. And so that being said, when we bought the farmhouse, we were able to show several years of very good income based on eBay, which sounds crazy, but it's true. So we were able to get a mortgage to buy that house. We fixed up that house using cash from eBay. We did not get a construction loan or anything like that.
And that's why it took us 3 years because we were paying as we were going.
And, we're artists, as we say, so we get ambitious and we're like, let's redo this whole thing. And then once we started the business, it was going so well, like our instincts on how to run it, we were like, oh, this actually did work. We bought another house about a month ago.
Right. And now we're in the process of fixing that up. But so we're going to try and start posting one of these every week.
Yeah.
Just like with our eBay podcast, you find that it's better for consistency. It's good for us, and maybe people want to follow along. And we're always interested in hearing people in the comments to talk about their own kind of,
rentals or
stories,
experiences or places you've rented.
Plans. We love to hear people's plans, like what do you want to do or what are you doing, and then to tell us how it worked out. I think that's really important, and that's something we're trying to do here. So let's talk about our numbers for January. So we only have 2 bookings in January.
Right.
And honestly, where we live, we didn't really expect anyone
at all
to rent for January and February because it's a dead of a winter time. Not a lot of people come out here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a neighbor that also has a rental, and he just said that he shuts his place in January, February, and March. Like, it doesn't even allow people to stay.
Yeah, it's just blocked off. And you know what? When we first started, I would go and look through people's calendars and see all of the winter months, even November, December. A lot of people you cannot book at all. They turn the heat off, they winterize the house, they don't think about it. Which is one way of doing it.
So it's for us, we have 2 weekends booked, and that's basically $900. Mm-hmm. People could still book more, but, as of right now, that's all we have.
Yeah.
So we need about $1,200 a month to cover our mortgage and its utilities for this farmhouse. So this $900 doesn't really cut it.
Yeah.
But it's better than $0.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, during the season, and for us, the season is actually about 10 months long.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
Starting in March, people start to book, and people come till December.
Yeah.
So it's a good long season. I mean, we make between $3,000 and $5,000 a month for those 10 months.
Now, that's just 1 year of data.
Right.
That's the first year of data. So I'm hoping that goes up or stays steady, and doesn't go down.
Right. So that definitely pays for the mortgage on the house, plus
profit.
Plus we're getting profit,
right?
And our goal is to pay off this mortgage as quick as we can.
Yeah.
So then the place is just it's profit.
Yeah.
We've actually raised this year. A change we've done is that we've raised our weekend rate from $225 to $250, and we were really worried that people would kind of balk at the cost.
Well, I remember when we were first starting. Thinking about renting, like we were finishing the house and we were trying to figure out prices, and we were like, maybe we should start at like $150, $175. And then we did comparisons with people who have not as nice places as us, and we're like, that's what they're charging, you know? So we upped it.
Yeah, and so far, we've actually booked a good number, a handful of weekends so far where people are willing to pay $250 for a Friday and a Saturday. So we're making like $500.
Well, it's $500 now. So I just want to bring this up real quick. We do have to pay taxes. It's called what is it called? The TOT, transient tax, whatever.
Yep.
It's like the hotel
It's like the
tax.
hotel tax.
Yeah. So in our area, it's 10.3%. And the great thing about HomeAway, VRBO, is they tack that on.
Or they give us the option of adding a tax, and then they automatically add that to the bill.
Right.
It's great.
So the people pay for that. The problem with Airbnb is that is not tacked on. So that comes right out of our profit,
Right.
which is, I find, very annoying, actually, because I'm the one that does the taxes at the end of the month, and I'm like...
People on Airbnb, talk about that in the forums, and we've actually asked customer service, and that's all about Airbnb's continuing struggle with its localities and being seen as a hotel. A service. They're trying to say that they're just an in-between, they're just like this in-between website where people are just renting their rooms in their house casually.
But it's not
whereas
like that at
its
all.
localities are like, no, you're a hotel business where people will have... kind of like us. We all now have 2 places, and we could have 3, and so people have multiple places, and instead of having, 10 rooms in one building, we'll have 10 rooms across 3
It's
properties.
like a hotel. Yeah.
So we think people should pay taxes. We're paying taxes. It's just a part of it. We just wish that Airbnb would allow us to add that tax on. Of course, what Airbnb says, we'll just raise the cost.
Right.
Add it into your cost. It's just
add that percentage.
It's just nice to be transparent about what the costs are.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's for us, raising the price. It's this year kind of solves an issue that we were having where when people just book on a Friday and Saturday, they kind of block out the week.
Right.
So it blocks off anyone that wants to book the whole week.
Right. We've had that issue before.
So we're just trying to make the weekend, if that's what people want, a little more expensive. You know?
Because there are times, especially in the summer, a family's like, I want to rent from, Sunday to Sunday. But someone's booked Friday and Saturday, and you're like, sorry.
Well, and so one other thing we could do is just, right now people have to book 2 nights at a time.
Right.
At least 2 nights. But we could make it more. We could be, you got to book 3 nights.
Right.
I don't think we're quite ready to make that leap because...
we get weekenders.
We get a lot of weekenders. Again, people from, it's DC, young people who just want to come out for a weekend.
Well, that's a majority of our Airbnb bookings.
Right.
Like during the fall and winter time, VRBO, we didn't get any bookings at all. And Airbnb would give us these weekenders. Like, we're trying to get away before the holiday craziness, and that's perfect for Airbnb.
Right. It seems, for us at least, Airbnb seems to be people that are just looking for quick getaways. Yeah. Mainly on weekends. It's, it's like 2 nights at a time. Yeah. Not always, but that's most of it. And whereas HomeAway or a VRBO, it seems like it's more people planning family vacations, which is great. We get a lot of booking 7 nights at a time, which is amazing, which we love.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And so the other thing about us doing this experiment of raising our weekend prices, just to see what the market will bear.
Right.
Not to sound like a crazy business person, but we've chosen. It's a conscious choice to be at the higher end of the market. Yeah. And for those of you out there who also rent, don't get too stuck on how much we charge because
every area is different.
It's different everywhere. But we're just throwing out the numbers just to plant a flag. For us, kind of the average price for a cabin in our area would be like $175.
150, 175, depending on how many.
So we're definitely on the higher end because our place is just nicer. Part of us being artists, like Ryan said, is we really put a lot of work into this place.
Right.
We redid it. We have a lot of nice artwork.
So that we could raise the price. Right. That's why.
So we invested a lot more in our place.
Yeah.
But we think we can make it on the back end.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what we're trying to do. And I think that we see that, we're
Yeah, we
getting
see it.
people who, price isn't so much of an issue.
Yeah.
Like, they're not renting places like, just show me the cheapest place.
Right.
They're actually going through and looking like, I can afford
Right.
it, whatever. Show me a place that's nice. And so we, have really nice pictures with a beautiful bed and
Well, I think
kitchen.
also, like, and this is what we talked about from the beginning, we're trying to attract people who are not coming out to party.
Right.
Like, there are places by the river, in the woods, in the mountains that are party cabins.
Right.
They're $125 to $175 a night, depending on how many people it sleeps.
You can cram 10 people into it.
They have rooms with like 4 sets of bunk beds. I mean, that's a party cabin.
Right.
That is not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to be like this weekend. We checked someone in yesterday. It was a couple from outside of DC. They brought their dog, and they were like, "We just wanted a cool little weekend away. You're my perfect customer."
Yep. Yep. It's people these people say now. It's a boyfriend wanting to impress his
girlfriend. Yeah.
So he doesn't want to rent a cheap
party cabin.
cheap kind of low rent party cabin. He wants to get a place that's super nice and
it's a like, I think of it back in this still happens and people do talk about it, the 80s and 90s, where you'd go to a bed and breakfast in like Vermont. Like, that would be a little getaway. I don't love bed and breakfasts, but
I mean, I think an easier way to compare it is you take 100 people, and they're the people that are going to stay at the best Western in a Super 8.
Right. That's us.
Yeah. We definitely rent by it being cheap.
I've been to so many Super 8s, it's not even funny.
But then there are people who just, with all options, they want to stay at the Hilton or at the Hyatt or at the boutique hotel.
Yeah.
Like, they want to pay more money because they want the exclusivity,
the experience,
and the niceness. And honestly, as we get older, we kind of try and inch up a little bit, although we're always trying to get the best deal for the best value.
Sometimes it's not the best.
Anyway, so that's just our choice, and each a rental owner can make that choice. We've rented quite a few Airbnb rentals when we travel, and we've stayed in all kinds of places.
We've stayed in beautiful European apartments. We've stayed in like rooms that felt like somebody's dorm room basement,
and we can see the choice that each owner makes.
Yes,
every owner is making a choice. I just want it simple. I want it cheap. I'm just going to buy the cheapest stuff because I don't care what happens to it.
It's just
I'm going to make the place cheap because I just want to turn the place over as often as possible. And then we've stayed in the places that I think we've chosen to be where they've really invested, and they're taking a chance on leaving nice things in the house,
and they're
nice
charging
furniture,
more,
and then they're charging more
because that's what they should be doing.
So something we have, we don't know the answer to this, and everyone has an opinion on this, is should we charge for cleaning?
Right.
And we're still kind of arguing amongst ourselves about this. I mean, one argument is it's like a hotel. People don't charge for it cleaning. It's part of the price. Just give me the price, and you clean it, and just charge more if you want to. But I just want to know the cost. But Airbnb seems to be, it's making this new model where they're pulling the cost of cleaning out of the cost of the thing. Right, like not showing you that in the price. So right now we're more of the hotel model where we just don't add the...
Right. Now, I think that originally, like, when I first went on Airbnb and started renting places and saw that people had cleaning fees, I was just like, I don't understand this, But I think originally it was because people were like, I have to bring someone in here to clean this place, like, I'm not cleaning it.
Right.
So if you're not cleaning it, you got to add that price in.
But, it's kind of ironic, though. We were talking about Airbnb allowing an extra charge for taxes. I mean, so they understand that it's model where they're letting people charge extra to clean because they know it's an extra cost. So why don't they do that for taxes? Taxes. Yeah. I mean, and I get that because, and that also shows that Airbnb is aware that a lot of people that rent are not just renting their own personal room in their house.
Extra spare guest room.
It's a business, and they have to hire people
to help, yeah.
So they understand that. And
But our dilemma is this. Will that, number one, detract from people wanting to rent our place? I have not rented places that are like $50 cleaning fee. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
When we look for Airbnbs, when we go out of town, we specifically find places that don't have a cleaning fee or super minimal, like $10.
Yeah.
It offends me when I see a place that says we're charging you $50 to clean. I'm
for 2 nights.
I'm renting 2 nights, so you're tacking on an extra $25. Like, the worst I'm going to do is leave out a coffee cup and sleep in the sheets,
the bed,
and pee in the toilet. Like, it's not very complicated, you know. I just feel like it's a little offensive to me. So
right, you know, I understand a cleaning fee more if we're there for 7 nights, you know, something like that. But it's just it's a weird conundrum for us. The other issue I find with a cleaning fee is, okay, say we tack on a $50 cleaning fee or a $30 cleaning fee. I mean, are people going to feel like more okay with leaving it dirty? Like, I'll leave the dishes in the sink because I'm paying the cleaning fee. I'm paying them to clean,
right? You
know? And so...
Yeah, and you know, currently, if you've heard us talk about this, we do all the cleaning ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's a significant amount of time. You know, it's 2 hours to go clean a house. And we do a really good job because it's our place, and that's important to us. And right now, it's just the cost of doing it's business, it's sweat equity, and we're fine with it. But I don't know. So our experiment will be, once we get our second rental going, we are going to charge a small cleaning fee. I'm thinking $25.
Yeah, $25.
Just to see if that...
It's an experiment.
Yeah.
You can take it off at any time, too. So if we're like, people are like leaving the grill nasty and blah, 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 it's like, I'm saying like, if you charge a cleaning fee and people are like leaving a huge mess because they're like, I'm paying for it, you know, then you take it off and you're like, no, I expect you to.
I think my concern with adding the cleaning fee is just, you know, I want to get as much as we can per night. Then adding the cleaning fee, I just don't want to push people away. You know, I would rather charge as much as we can per night for the stay.
Right.
And then make it up. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
That's
sure...
That's a question.
If people are listening to this, I'm sure you have your own opinions. So we would love to hear that. And I know many of you are actually paying cleaners, and we understand that. But again, it's just... It's all business choice. As long as people are booking, that's the last word.
Right.
I mean, we may be artists, but we know it's ultimately about the numbers. You know, opinions don't really matter. It's are people booking. So if you can book with a high cleaning fee, God bless you.
Right.
So this new rental that we bought, you know, I'm thinking we're hoping.
Yes.
To have it ready by June.
Yes.
Ryan will laugh.
I laugh.
But you have to have some kind of plan.
Yes. No, that's true.
So the first thing we're doing is we're putting on a metal roof.
Right. And some people might think we're crazy, but that's okay.
Yep. And so we basically have the money to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a big chunk of change, but we're investing in it, and you know and this money all came from selling old stuff on the internet.
eBay.
So,
yep. Exactly.
And so the other big thing we're doing is like we want to put in an HVAC system.
Now we want to do, it's called like the ductless zone system. So none of that central air.
Yeah.
These are these new systems that people have seen where there's a unit on your wall. It's like a rectangular unit. You have a pump, a heat pump, whatever it's called outside, and that's hooked up to like 3 different units in your house.
Yes, a zone system. We have a cabin that is not conducive to having ductwork, so we had a guy come out. He said it would cost $10,000. So obviously
too much for us
for an 800 square foot loft.
Yeah.
So you know, obviously we're going to get other quotes, and I think one way we might try and do it is we're going to try. We kind of know some people that do this work.
Yeah.
We're going to see if we can't buy the equipment ourselves and then just pay him to install it like by the hour.
Right.
You know,
And the reason we are thinking that that's possible is a friend of ours who's building a house down the street from our house did that. He was like, the quote I got was so much money that I thought I can pay someone to install it and buy it, you know, separately, and it's like a fraction of the price that they were quoting me.
and this is, you know, these are the things that you do if you work as your own contractor. We talked about that it last time. We're being our own contractor, so we're having to do all the work of getting bids and making choices, and you know, we might even go buy the equipment. So it takes time.
Yeah.
But we save money that way, we hope.
Right. So I do have photos of the house posted already, but I do have a couple photos that I do want to post of the new house, of just like color schemes I've been working on.
Yeah, like in Photoshop, we kind of did a thing where we showed the colors we want.
Different colors, yeah.
Yeah. So just to give people a better idea, you know, if you're nerds like us, house nerds, then this might interest you. So, you know, our season, like we said, starts in March, so that comes up in a couple months. Our hope is that the rent we get from our first rental will help pay for the renovations for the second one.
Yes.
You know, that's kind of what the hope is. Like, that's like a real business person does.
Right, exactly. Well,
cash flow.
That's the thing, is like you have the cash flow to be investing in another business until the other business can get up and running. And when we decided to buy this second house, we were trying to do it in a time frame that made sense for, you know, we're going to be renovating this during the peak season of our other house, so we can be throwing the money over there.
And like we said, it took us 3 years to redo our first rental, so we were making no income on that. I mean, you know, when we tell other landlord-like people, they're like, what?
You're
if you
crazy.
had a place that was just sitting there and not making you money, hey, it's just a choice we had. We wanted to do it right. But this second one we hope to get done so it's rented by the summertime. You know, can we do it faster? I mean, a lot of it has to do with cash flow.
It's money.
Because we aren't borrowing any money. This is just money out of our pocket. So, you know, I've been doing the numbers, and June's pretty optimistic, but, you know, we've got to try.
But, you know, if we have the cash flow coming from eBay and from the farmhouse rental, you're hoping that you can throw big chunks of change at projects and just hire people ASAP.
Right.
You know?
So, it's, for instance, we talked about we're going to put a roof on it. That's going to be, you know, $12K. So, So we're talking about putting a tankless hot water heater in there.
Yes.
You know,
the reason we decided that too,
or we're thinking about it,
is because this hot water heater, you know, we're saying it's an 800 square foot loft. This hot water heater is massive, and it's like basically right in the middle of the kitchen.
You know, it's like a 50-gallon. So we're hoping we get rid of that. It's closet, and it's more space, and we make a bigger bathroom.
We want a bigger bathroom.
That's what the goal is.
Yeah.
And for us, luxury means like if you have a bigger bathroom. So if we can add, you know, 10 by, you know, another 30 square feet to its bathroom.
That's huge. Yeah,
huge.
that's massive.
But, you know, we've never had a tankless hot water heater, so we have to see. We're going to put all new windows in this place, because right now it's like windows from the 70s, single pane.
Single pane aluminum windows that, oh God, they are horrible.
The caulk is like, you know, deteriorating.
It's like turning to powder.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God.
We actually want to put in a new front door. Like, I don't mean put in a new door. Actually change the location
of the door.
Right
now, the front door is just sliding glass door out to the patio.
Right.
And what we want is like a proper door over to the side, so that the problem is, like, this sliding glass door is in the middle of the front of the house. So you eliminate this whole area as like a sitting room, like, because that's the entrance. So we want to move the door to the corner of the house, so it's like a little entranceway, and the rest is like a room. And
then we talked about the HVAC system. Put the ductless, because right now there's no
AC. No,
there's just electric heat. So
and window units.
So the water so the water doesn't freeze.
Right.
And, you know, I guess it's questions some people are asking us right now. why not leave it like it is? Like, why not just go in there, sweep it up, clean the windows and just be done? Like, people were renting it before, why not just do it now? And it goes back to what we said. We're just making a conscious choice to invest money in a place.
Right.
To make it more valuable, number one, if we resell the place.
Yeah.
But also so we can ask more. I think we can get $75 more a night with these, putting $40,000 in. I think we can get $75 more a night. Plus we can rent it more often.
The other thing too is, and this is just for like peace of mind and like feeling proud of a place, when we give a tour of the farmhouse, I mean, we feel great, and people are like oohing and ahhing, like, "Whoa, this room is so cool," And I definitely did not feel that way when I walked into this cabin when we bought it.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
we saw the potential.
Right. Of course, we saw the potential. But as a person who wanted to come rent it, no way.
Yeah. So I think it's for us. That's just. I mean, again, it's just a business choice. Like, we're thinking we can pay off the renovations we do in 2 years.
Yeah.
From the money we get from there.
Right.
And again, this is a long term. Like, this is kind of our it's retirement.
Right.
Business.
Right.
It's so weird to think about that, but yeah, that's true. I mean,
well, it's long term.
These are things we want to have for 20 plus years.
I'm not like, I'm going to do this and then move somewhere else in 5 years. Like, that's not the plan.
Right.
I think the other thing too is, and we talked about this, and a lot of other business people kind of think we're weird, is, we want to invest in our area and make our area a higher end place to come. I would love it if more, tech nerds and, rich people want to come to our area, and it's more desirable. So that raises the prices of everyone around us, can raise their price. I noticed that other rentals that are our direct competition raised their price this year after we raised the prices.
I mean, we don't know if it's because of us, but if they're looking and comparing to what other people are doing, hopefully they notice that, hey, they can rent at that price. Why not me?
And the reason you do that is because then people realize those are the median prices for this area, not I could get a place for $125 a night.
I think with rentals, a lot of times it's not a race, or it shouldn't be a race to the bottom. I think it should be actually trying to push up, prices based on, based on
quality.
But it has to be based on quality, because people will get angry if they don't feel like you're getting a good, it's value. But again, we all make choices. I mean, we've done several renovations now of homes, and we know that we could just do a Lowe's a redo,
Lowe's
or
job.
a Home Depot, where you just kind of go and you just kind of cover over everything. Everything looks neat and tidy and clean, but really you haven't improved any of the underlying parts of the house.
Right.
So you really just kind of put a Band-Aid on the house for 5 years.
It's like a facade.
Maybe 10,
Yeah.
but ultimately its facade will start crumbling, and maybe some of your infrastructure in their house will start crumbling. And
also, if you're using better materials, I was just reading this in a book that we have. If you're using better materials, better wood, not particle board, those materials wear better than cheap materials. I used a cheap pop-up drain faucet thing in our sink upstairs, and I was scrubbing it with a scrubby, and I accidentally scrubbed the finish off. This is a cheap one that I bought for our house. It's things like that where you're like, don't put things that are going to get ruined so easily just in general maintenance, because that costs you more money because you have to replace it now, So
again, it's just a choice. Okay, so that is it for this week of Shampoo and Booze. We're going to be doing this, if we can, every week, just to kind of update ourselves.
So I also wanted to add that there is a voicemail number that we have for both our blogs, and you can call with, I would love to hear other people's experiences or other people